So I'm in a teacher's guide right now, and I'm going to go to the unit test. So when you're sharing data with teachers or parents, like parent teacher conferences, I want you to consider sharing by standard and proficiency other than just merely by percentage. So as a parent, if you hand me a student test that says 63% on it, I'm going to think my child is really terrible at math. It's going to feed all of my fears. It's going to validate what I think about me as a mathematician. And now I've passed it on to my child. Like it's not doing anyone any good. Not to mention, it's not helping the kid, right? So it's more helpful to me as the teacher, to other support teachers, and to the parents if I'm more explicit about what a student understands and doesn't understand. So when I see the unit test, I can see here that I have numbers one and two, three, four, so on. Like it's all numbered here. This is the same test that's in the student activity book. And then down here, it tells me what those test items are, the standard it correlates to, and then any lessons or reteaching activities. So now when I go to report out, I may on the front of this test even have a copy of this, like just cut this out, screenshot it from your teacher's guide, whatever, copy it depending on what your state standards are. If you're using the Common Core version, these will be Common Core standards. If you're using the national version, then they're going to be national standard codes. So you could white these out and put in your own state standard codes. I prefer to also then have a list of what the standards actually are because I want to be able to say, okay, on number one and two, it was, let's say for MDA, that was adding and subtracting multi-digit numbers up to a million. Maybe that's the standard. Okay. If that's the standard, then I'm going to say, well, he got this part wrong. Maybe he computed. I'm like, oh, he's on a scale of 1 to 4. He's like a 3. So he didn't get everything right. He didn't go above and beyond. He's not a 4. So whatever your grading scale is, it's up to you and to your school how you grade, even if it's percentages. Okay. Even if you're still not at standards-based grading and you're giving percentages, but then give a percentage for this, but do it by standard. So where are all the other places that this standard shows up on this assessment? Look at all of those problems and then give them an overall grade for that standard. Now, when you say, here are the standards and here's what your child did, now it's so different because I can say, well, yeah, but look at standard, OA3, like rocked it. Like they totally got all those problems right. And so they're doing really well with, and then insert what that skill really is. You can say, look, that was numbers 1, 5, and 6. Like that skill, you can see they're having to read and compare numbers. They're having to deconstruct a story problem. They're having to, like, you can give examples of what that standard even means because you've communicated well via the standards here. And then you can say, let's look at the other places where your student struggled a little bit. On this particular standard, here was their grade. Let's look at those types of questions and what they are understanding and what they need some more support with. Think about how much more information that's giving a parent, a support teacher, an interventionist than it is they got 63%. Okay, now I'm targeted. Now I know exactly what I'm going to be reteaching, how I can help. You can even send home these reteach pages if you're using the 2018 copyright, as here's a place where you can go and work on this skill with your child. You can do those in small group. You can go revisit this lesson, send that lesson home. If parents really want to help, there's places and ways they can help, especially if you send home maybe those lessons even from the TE where it has the teacher directions. You're helping educate and you're providing meaningful support for that child at home. It's up to you. But reporting out matters. What do you report out and how you report out? Are we speaking a clear language to adults that are not in our world and do not understand our teacher talk? So we want to be a little bit more clear with parents.